Welcome to At the Table,
where we are connecting entrepreneurs, discovering missions, and building communities with purpose, body, soul, mind, and business with
Charlie
and Heather.
with Women in Leadership. Good morning and happy Monday. Welcome to the table. I'm Charlie.
And I'm Heather, and I didn't even know we were recording.
It didn't sound recorded.
I didn't, but I see the little thing now, so that was the offsetting, right? Like, whoa, good morning. It's not doing the normal things, which is a good reminder that sometimes things don't do the thing.
Right?
And it's okay.
It's okay. These things happen. Technology is always doing something super fun. And
Technologists.
And there's a lot of stuff going on universally that, it does have an effect on technology and how it functions and works and things like that. It's actually really cool science.
It is. So happy Monday.
Happy Monday. We get to talk about some really awesome stuff today.
We like to talk about awesome stuff.
We do. Okay, so we have been reading The Mastery of Love by Don Miguel Ruiz and Career Self-Care by Minda Zetlin, and we are on chapter 6 this week of each book because it just so happens that the dates align, so we can start both books at the same time.
Wow. I just love the way they're holding each other's hands through this whole process. Like they just go hand in hand. Like
the beginning of the year, we sat down. We're like, these are the books we want to read this year, and okay, these ones are like personal care stuff. These ones are like business care stuff, like things we do for ourselves and then things we do for our business. So things we do for ourselves, the mastery of love. This week we talk about the magical kitchen.
That's such a cool concept.
Right. So what is the magical kitchen? So imagine you have this magical kitchen, and I think of that Disney movie Encanto, right? The whole house is magic, right?
That's a good kitchen to imagine for this.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
So you have this magical kitchen that creates all this wonderful, amazing food. You always have enough and overabundance of this magical food, and the kitchen prepares it for you, and you get to share it with the community,
and you have enough to share and give to others.
Yeah. And then somebody shows up at your door with a pizza. And you're like, thank you for bringing a pizza. Come on in. I have enough to share, right? And it's like this life of abundance. But then imagine that you don't have a magical kitchen and you're starving. And somebody comes to your door and offers you a pizza. But in exchange for the pizza, they want you to do whatever they ask of you. But you're starving. So you're like, okay, I'm starving right now. I'll take the pizza and I'll do what you ask. So you're giving your power away, right? Now imagine your kitchen is love. You always have enough to give away. You always have enough to give away. The more you give away, the more you receive in return, and your cup overflows. But if you are in a place where you are starving for love, it's when you let people in that can manipulate you, right? And, give you just enough of their pizza or their love to get by. You're like, well, what if I still need my pizza?
Because we think that that's the only source.
Yeah.
Because we aren't in the abundance.
Right.
So we feel like that is the only source to get the pizza, to get the nourishment.
And the difference is the magical kitchen is that kitchen of love that comes from your heart, from inside of you. If you try to seek love outside of you and put that on somebody else as their responsibility, they're going to use manipulation for their benefit to get you to do what they want. Boom, right?
That's heavy. I mean, it is a short little chapter, but to really sit with that and to see, because we talk a lot about that we only accept the abuse that's a little bit less than we abuse ourselves. So if you're thinking about that, like, I'm accepting pizza from somebody when I should be nourishing myself from inside.
Right, because I have enough in my own kitchen.
Right.
I could make my own pizza. Right. My pizza's better anyway.
Right.
So yeah, it is really looking at life through the lens of abundance versus the lens of lack, which is something we've actually been working with in setting our CEO mindset, right? Is we want to look at our business from a place of abundance and joy, not from a place of lack and fear.
Yes. And so much of our culture is based in that lack and fear. The news, even listening to like morning radio shows on the way over, I just have to turn them off. I'm like, that's gross. Like I just, because I'm so into where we're going, like so far, that I can see it in the conversation.
You hear those negative messages and you're like, no thanks.
Yeah. Very picky about what I listen to right now.
Wait for me, Satan.
Absolutely. So I think it's interesting too that as you're understanding what your kitchen can do for you, and you're growing your kitchen, the people that you're inviting to your table are already ready to respect you. Because you're in a different spot. They're in a different spot too.
Right. And you attract people on your same vibration, right? Your energy is magnetic to the people whose energy is the same as yours.
Yes.
So if you don't like where you're at, look at the top 5 people you're hanging out with.
It's so true. Right. And it's scary.
And if you hang out with yourself, what are you listening to? What are you reading? How are you feeding your brain? What kind of information are you taking in? Is it a positive mindset, abundance-based information, or is it societal negativity? We're going to bring you down. Even
shows like I love the show Supernatural, but if I binge watch too much of it, it gets me down, right? And some of that is like who I would watch it with, right? So then you're in the energy of who you watched it with in the past, and it's not all the show, right? There's so much more to it. So just even knowing what shows trigger that for you, right? But there's so much self-awareness can happen in every moment. I think curiosity, right? Being curious, don't judge yourself. And I think that learning that we all have these struggles internally has helped so much, because we didn't talk about it. It wasn't something that we talked about, that I was judging myself for this, I was saying these things. We don't talk about that.
There's a lot of things we don't talk about, like this morning.
Okay, we're gonna get real right now.
So there's a lot of things about the feminine body that kind of has been a mystery for years, because they don't do science on the female body. They do science on penises, right? For the most part, because men want to know what's happening for them. And
it's been very masculine dominated research, right? So we could go on, that's a whole podcast. But so we were having a conversation this morning.
And I just finished up my moon cycle, and I asked the girls, I was like, hey, question, 9:40. Does anybody else's nipples itch when they're on their period? And they're like, yes. I was like, why don't we talk about these things? And then, we're like, because we were told that, talking about these things, what happens with our bodies and how our bodies function as women, was inappropriate. You don't talk to others about what's going on with your body, right? That's personal. That's what my mom would say. That's private information.
Right. But when do you talk about private
Right. I
information?
don't even remember my mom talking to me about getting my period, but I had my mom and my older sister that happened to before me, and so I kind of knew what to do, but like that's it. Right? It's awful.
So that would not be a conversation we would have with strangers.
No.
So let's go on into our next book, which would be Career Self-Care. Then we only have these conversations with people like you, complete strangers. We're being real.
We're being real. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
So chapter 6, how to have a conversation with anyone, anywhere, and anytime.
Right.
So let's not talk about nipples.
No. We have been told that petting somebody's hair. Ooh, you have somebody's hair. Don't touch people when you first meet them.
Okay.
This one here totally starts conversations that way.
Oh wow, you have pretty hair. Can I touch it?
Yeah.
And I respect.
Like, oh my God. Yeah.
Or I'd rather you didn't. Absolutely, you have the right to respect. And I actually compliment them when they say no, because they probably never get a compliment for saying no. Right. Like if somebody says no, I'm like, I'm proud of you for setting a boundary. Good job. Like, I don't take it personally. We don't.
It's a thing. We don't really
I'm definitely proud of people for that. Okay, so obviously starting conversations with people is not a weakness of mine. I grew up with my grandma. She could talk to anybody. She was the local coupon lady, and she could literally talk to anybody, anytime, any place, anywhere.
Yeah, start a conversation. So the gentle art of starting a conversation. It is an art. It does take practice. It doesn't come naturally to everybody.
I thought that was great that's where we're talking about, is that it doesn't come naturally to everybody. Right. Because there's been periods in my life, it's just like, this skill. You've watched grandma do it. Like, why are you not talking to people? Like,
Because it's that voice in our head telling us, like that judgy.
Or feeling judged because you do talk to everybody. Also, the other side of that.
Oh my God.
If you go anywhere, you're always talking to people.
Because it's actually pretty virtual.
Right?
Go talk
to people.
Find your confidence. Okay, it sounds hard, but find your confidence. It's in there. It is you. Let that light shine.
And you can start really gentle. Like if this is not something that's comfortable at all, the next time you go to the grocery store, just be like, ooh, did you like that? I've never tried that. Have you tried that before? Like something in someone's car, like while you're standing in line. And now you've sparked a conversation, and they get to talk about themselves and their experience with whatever it is.
Right. And that's when you put the focus on the other person. That's the next piece, right? You put the focus on them. Oh, I really like this necklace you're wearing. Tell me about that. Where did you get it? It was a gift from so-and-so. Oh, I bet that's so special for you. Doesn't it make you feel good to wear that?
And this is a great technique to use on a day that you're having a bad day, right? Where everything is hit the fan. And if you could just shift the focus off of yourself, you give your brain a break, right? And then you remember why you're here. Then everything happens for us, the things start, right? So this is a great technique to use on a rough day.
The next piece, find common ground. You're not going to find common ground with everybody, but if you can find a common ground with someone, that is like the base of a relationship. We have some things in common. Maybe it's we have out of the box kids. Maybe it's because we have, similar businesses, or, whatever the case may be. She talks about going to conferences and talking to other people in the same kind of realm of work that she does, and how she starts conversations with them about what they're doing together.
Yeah. And then she gives us some good pointers for never fail conversation starters.
First one I thought was a hilarious story. She said, ask for information or help. So we'll get into the concept of the Ben Franklin effect here in a minute, but basically she had a pretty funny experience with this. how she met her ex-husband. Was they were both walking in New York, and one was walking across 42nd Street during a protest that was happening, and then the other one was walking from the United Nations to go see the protest, and then one was going from the protest to the United Nations because there was things going on in different places and whatnot. And so he stopped her and asked her for information on what was going on back there. And she was like, well, there's not really a lot going on. They're just kind of sitting there. There's not really any action. And then she's like, what's going on over there, where he was coming from? And he basically said the same thing. Well, not really all that much. And then they got talking, and they were walking together around to these things. And next thing, she knew they were getting married. The marriage turned out to be a disaster, but his conversation starter was stellar.
I love her.
Right? So I thought that was really cool.
So just asking, and then you're talking with somebody. Mm-hmm. And locals are usually pretty nice like that. Like, you think about it, like,
yeah, I've never been here before. What's your favorite restaurant?
Boom.
Boom.
Yeah.
What's something that you love to do in this area that isn't touristy?
Ooh, right. That's a great question to ask a local when you're visiting somewhere.
Especially during the summer when everybody's outside and enjoying things. What goes on? Are there any festivals coming up or street fairs that, we can look forward to on here?
We've done different things that are on your phone. I'm going to not say what it is on our phone. And it's like a community day on this app. And then we'll go to different parks and stuff, and it strikes up conversations with strangers. Like,
it does. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's different ways to connect with your community.
Yeah, kind of fun.
Yeah. So Ben Franklin effect.
What is the Ben Franklin effect?
Let's see.
How do we explain that? So
it's based on that quote. Where to go?
He that has once done you a kindness will be more ready to do you another than he whom you yourself have obliged.
So if you ask someone, so I've seen salespeople do this. Like, okay, here's something. You come over with something on their clipboard. Oh, it falls. Oh, could you grab that for me? So now you've done a favor for the salesperson by picking it up off the ground and handing it to them. So you start somebody by having them do something really simple. And he talks about Benjamin Franklin borrowed a book from somebody that was kind of like his rival, and he was like trying to like figure out, like, this guy didn't like him, and they just couldn't break the ice with each other. And so he asked to borrow this book, and then after that dude was like his best friend for life.
Yeah,
it broke the ice, right?
It broke the ice. Yeah.
So
I thought that was a really cool story too, and it's like it had historical significance. Him borrowing that book changed history. Him befriending that rival changed history. Yeah, pretty cool. Mention a shared experience. Say you're out at the beach with your family. Oh,
here's a jellyfish.
Oh, yeah. Are you having a good time here at the beach?
Did you guys check out the playground over there? Blah blah blah. When you're traveling, or sometimes oh man, that happens a lot around here because we're the local tourists, right? So then when someone's out of town, you're like, everything we can do to tell you. We met a couple when we were in line at the airport that were coming to Seattle, and we were like, you could do this, or you could call there, or you could do this. Like, it was like all this stuff just came.
Trying to figure out how to get to their hotel and if they could take the light rail. And since I have experience riding the light rail in Seattle because I used to do it for work, I was like, yeah, you can take the light rail to King Street, and then from King Street you should be able to connect either via light rail or bus to your hotel. And they were able to figure it out, no problem. I even told them the app to use, everything else.
It was awesome.
Yeah,
it was cool.
It was a great conversation.
Yeah. And it was just like being we felt like we were showing up in service, but we were just having conversations with people and seeing what things they needed.
Right. How can we help you today?
Number 3 is give a compliment, which we have watched this on many occasions change the day for the person you compliment.
Yeah.
And the biggest one I always comes to mind is the barista that looked like she was just ready to cry. Like she's having a morning, probably the coffee machines exploded on her.
Some like really cute earrings or something on.
She had really cute shorts. She was looking really cute that day. Like she had like these overalls on and she had cute earrings on. Like we totally complimented her.
She looked really cute, but she looked also like she was gonna cry. So we complimented her on her earrings, and we were just really sweet. Sent her some love and told her she was doing a great job. And we're like, we can tell you're having a hard day. You need a hug. That's who we are,
right?
And absolutely, she needed a hug, so we gave her a hug. It was awesome. What if you get rejected? Speaking of hugs, right? What if you get rejected?
That awkward. Well, I guess I'm not hugging you. That was that awkward. I'm now tapping on a shoulder instead of putting my arm around you because they have run away.
Usually, when you get rejected, it's a little awkward, and you do like what we do. Oh, I can see that you are not really wanting to interact right now. That's okay. Okay, I respect your boundaries, and then you just move on. Right?
Yeah, like with the hair. Like, no. Awesome. I'm so glad you have boundaries. You get to have boundaries. Because sometimes they may not know that they can actually, they have them, but it's like that societal, you have boundaries and now you're being the BITCH, right? Like, no, that's not what that is. Having boundaries is totally healthy.
The other piece of that is don't take it personally.
Right.
We work so hard on it taking things personally and not letting these things get in our head because somebody rejected us. Oh no, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? Nothing's going to happen. They're not going to
they won't be your best friend.
Oh no.
Well, darn.
Right. So yeah, that is literally the worst thing that could happen, right? Think of like what that might look like. Oh, this person rejected me. Well, maybe you go to a job interview and they turn you down for the job. That can be really upsetting, and that can feel like you were failed in some way, which can really get up in your head. But you know what? It wasn't about you. It was about them and what their expectations and things are, not about the awesome service that you provide as a person and the awesomeness that you are. So you remember that if you're having a moment because somebody rejected you for something, don't even worry about it. There's better to come.
Remember, just one more time, life happens for us, not to us.
Life happens for us, not to us.
So we may not know why in the moment, but
also, they did this really cool experiment in Chicago where they had people who commuters start up conversations with each other, right? And they did like a control group, and they did like the conversation group, right? So the control group did what they normally do, which is not really talk to people, have in your headphones, play on your phone, things like that. And then the conversation group had all these conversations with each other, and the group of people who had the conversations enjoyed their commute better than those who just kept to themselves because they didn't want to bother anybody.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
In my own experiences from commuting on public transit, when we had the when I joined the conversation people, we created a community and friendships, and we rode together almost every day. Like you create a community.
Right. School bus, church bus,
whatever.
community
transit,
carpool. right?
Yeah.
Create that community within this like micro environment, right?
Yes.
So go ahead and repeat the Chicago experiment. Keep on talking to people. Just start up conversations. That's exercises to try, number 1. Number 2 is do your homework before meeting a bigwig. I thought this was kind of interesting because like you're going to like this conference and you want to talk to one of the speakers, but you're kind of nervous about it. And do some homework beforehand if you're gonna meet somebody big at an event or potentially meet somebody big at an event. So you have some background information so you can ask them questions about their book or about their
and not just be like, hi. Right? Having that plan too. And I've also heard like ask them something kind of personal, like so that they're really getting an opportunity to connect with you as opposed to just like
the Marysville Police Foundation is a 501c3 organization to support these areas of the Marysville Police Department, law enforcement, officer wellness, and the community outreach programs and activities.
They finally got to
We look forward to serving you.
They asked her like a question that was not like a standard or, hi, right? And getting to meet you question. And it just made all the difference into breaking the ice with this person. Like
you can have a real conversation.
Yeah.
Number 3 and the last exercise to try this week, plan some conversational openers for your next event.
Be prepared, because when you're practicing this and trying and doing it from the beginning, you don't always, it doesn't come easy at first. So having a few things planned out for when you're nervous.
And it could be as simple as this suggestion right here. I'm reading this book and there's this chapter on starting a conversation with a stranger. I'm trying to learn how to do that. You mind if I practice on you for a minute or two? Most people will say yes. It goes back to that Ben Franklin effect, right? Yeah. You're asking them for a favor. Hey, I need some help in this area.
That's fabulous. This next chapter is awesome. I accidentally read ahead.
But you'll get to hear about it next week. Don't forget to join us for the weekly reading on Sundays, where I read the full chapters of each book every week. And then we talk about it with you guys on Mondays.
Yay! Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Thank you for joining us for today's conversation. And
I hope you have an amazing day. We love you.
Namaste. Mwah. Stay tuned for the cause of the quarter.
Doop, doop, doop. We take the mystery and pain out of social media consistency for your business, giving you back time to shine in your zone of genius. Social media is the new branding. It deserves its own attention, thought, and effort. Yet so few businesses actually take this seriously and invest enough time on their strategy. We can do it for you at an affordable rate that will fit into your budget and allow you to pursue other revenue channels as well. The hardest part of social media management is keeping up the consistency to be seen and know what to post, when to post. Are you ready to have everything ready to go for you, saving you time and energy by not having to do it all yourself? Still getting your message out so that people get to know you, like you, and develop trust while opening yourself up to more time for the business of your business where you shine. Working with Women in Leadership, BSMB LLP, is a unique experience that bridges the gap from face-to-face to virtual relationship marketing. Not only do we love to help you shine on social media, we love to share tools to help you grow with us, body, soul, mind, and business. Check out our podcast and YouTube channel for Mindset Mondays, Social Media Training Wednesdays, business interviews and special topics on Fridays, and weekly readings on Sundays. To schedule your consultation or podcast interview, head to our website, www.womeninleadershipbsmb.com. Our weekly readings on Sunday, our podcast Mindset Monday, social media training with Heather on Wednesdays, guest interviews, and special topics on Fridays. Thank you for joining us. Find out more and schedule with us online at www.womeninleadershipbsmb.com, where you have a spot at the table. Thank you for joining in on the fun. Be sure to like and subscribe for more.